Hey, it's Jacqueline from Succulent 613. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of leaf propagations. I just went out to the garden and I got a variety of leaves that I'd like to propagate. So we've got a few different varieties here. We've got some Pearl von Nurnberg's or Purple Pearl, probably in there too. We've got a Black Prince hybrid. We've got some Golden Sedum. We've got Echeveria Saniatwe, we've got Blue Burrito, we've got some jelly beans in there too. And I've also taken some leaves that are in pretty rough shape, and I've done that on purpose because I'd like to see if they actually grow or not. So that'll be cool to see. So basically what I do is I take the leaf, I make sure there's a clean break, so you can see clean break, there's no damage, there's no tears. I place them on a tray, no soil. People ask me, why no soil? This gives you the best chance of avoiding rot because you might have moisture in your soil that you don't even realize. This also gives you the best chance of avoiding pests or mealybugs. So basically, I will leave these on a tray with no soil to start. I also don't give them any direct sun. So my window is over there. I place them in an area of the room across from a window, but I don't give them any direct sun. So basically they're in the shade or just kind of a bright shade. The reason that I do this is because they are likely going to burn if you give them any kind of direct sunlight or direct sun rays. So absolutely no soil, no sun to start. The other thing that I do not do is I do not give any water. The reason that I don't give any water is because they will likely rot, and that's something that happened to me very often when I first started propagating and I didn't know what I was doing. So the rule here is no soil, no sun, and no water. I'm going to leave these for about a week and I'm going to come back and check on them in about a week. The thing that I notice is not all succulents are going to propagate at the same time, even if they're the same variety. So you're going to find maybe some have roots, maybe some have a baby, maybe some have roots and a baby, or maybe nothing has happened. Hey, it's Jacqueline. This is my 1 week update from my leaf propagation tray. So once again, these have been in the shade, away from a window, so about 10 feet away from a window, so not getting any direct sunlight. No water, no soil, just sitting on a tray. And I'm just going to update you on the growth. So most of them so far don't have any growth, no roots, no babies, but there are 3 or 4 that do. So you can see there's a tiny baby on the end here, and a pretty decent one right here. This one also has a tiny baby growing from it. So because they are still quite small, I'm not going to put that on soil and water it yet. I'm going to give it maybe another week. And then for anything that has a decent baby or decent roots, maybe about double what they have now, those are going to go on soil. I'm going to keep the soil damp and I will put them in gentle sun, so sort of filtered sun, sometimes shade. And here's an update on the leaves that I purposely plucked because I knew they would not propagate. So they were not in good shape when I plucked them, and as you can see, they are still not in good shape. So these ones likely will not propagate. This one might, because it's not, the end isn't damaged. You can see this one is pretty burnt and damaged, so that one probably won't propagate. These dry ones, absolutely not. Those are gone. This one here, probably not going to be very successful either. because there's no water, there's no stored water for the baby to find. And I also had one over here that didn't make it as well. So it's pretty common for, you might lose 5% of your leaves if you don't pluck the perfect, healthiest leaves. But I think I will probably get 95% of these to propagate. I will do a 2-week update for you next. Hey, it's Jacqueline. Just wanted to give you a 2-week update on leaf propagations. So there's been a lot of action here. Let's zoom in over here. We've got pretty significant baby here, which is awesome. We've got some roots here on the jelly bean, some roots here on, I believe that might be a ghost plant leaf. Vera Higgins has a tiny little sprout, which is awesome. Another little baby here, another sprout here, another sprout here. That one's pretty big actually. I believe that might be off of a Fred Ives. Another baby here, and again this is 2 weeks in, so day 14. There's a pretty big sprout coming off of this one. And this leaf here is damaged. You can see there's a big chunk out of it, and it did indeed produce a baby. So even though the back end of the leaf has a chunk out of it, it will produce a baby if this area is safe and has a clean break. Another little baby there. Jelly beans are starting to sprout roots. Pretty big babies over here. So the next step is that anything that has a significant baby like this, anything that, isn't microscopic, I'm going to take outside in filtered sun or in a bright window. I'm going to put it on soil and I'm going to keep the soil damp. I know that seems crazy, but babies actually need a lot of water. Even though they're getting water from the mother leaf, the problem is that they won't grow fast. If you just rely on the mother leaf, you're going to have tiny babies for like a year. They'll never get any bigger. If you put them in damp soil and you keep the soil damp, water every 1 or 2 days, those babies are going to double in size overnight. So that's why I keep the soil damp. So anything that does not have a baby yet is just going to stay in this tray away from direct sun until a baby sprouts. So this is kind of a 2-step process. So step 1, all the leaves go in indirect light on a tray, no sun, no soil, no water. Pretty big like this. I put them on soil, gentle sun, filtered sun, or a bright window, and I keep the soil damp. So I am not misting the soil, I am watering gently so that the first inch of soil is damp consistently. I purposely plucked some leaves that were in really bad condition here on the side, just to show you that leaves that are not in good condition will likely not propagate. So of course, here we go, they were not in good shape. This one's crispy, didn't survive. This one's sunburnt. It might produce a baby, but not 100% sure. This one was only healthy halfway down, and you can see it's not going to work out. And this one's crispy. This one here, we're not sure. It might produce something. These burnt ones might produce something, probably not this one though. So that was just a good example of leaves that were not in good condition, that were not going to produce babies, so that you know what kinds of leaves to look for when you're propagating. Alright, so I've collected all of the leaves from the leaf propagation tray that have pretty significant babies on them, like you can see here. So anything that's not microscopic is what I'm going to be planting today. And so here is just cactus soil, perlite, maybe a little sphagnum moss mixed in, and I'm just gonna gently push them into the soil. Nothing major, you don't have to bury anything. Just tuck them in, just give them a little nudge just so the roots are touching the soil. And I'm going to put them in a place that gets indirect filtered sun so that they are not going to burn. And I am going to spray them until the first inch of soil is damp. And I will show you exactly how to do that in a moment. Okay, so there we go. So you don't have to bury anything, you just kind of nudge them into the soil, and then you're going to water the soil and keep them in indirect filtered sun or a bright sunny window. So this is how I water my leaf propagations. I'm going to take my hose, I'm going to put it on the mist setting, but I am going to mist heavily until the first inch of soil is damp, because that will make them grow 10 times faster than if you just relied on the mother leaf to provide nutrients. I'm going to let that soak in for a second. So here is a tray of my ghost plant leaf propagations. They're about 3 months old now, and again, all I've been doing for watering is just heavily misting until the first inch of soil is damp. If you mist and it doesn't penetrate the soil, then the water just evaporates and your plants don't get any nutrients. That's why I don't use a misting bottle. So that's all I do. I heavily mist until the soil is nice and saturated. I make sure my pot has drainage. These are now in full sun because they're big enough. And I do that at least once a day or every other day, or if it rains, then I might not have to do it for a couple of days. So here is another leaf propagation tray that I have. It's got a bunch of different varieties. You can see here that I am pulling pretty hard on that, and that has got a really good root system. So another plus of watering them is that they're going to develop a strong root system early on. That's going to give them more success in their life. Some people have asked me about the mother leaf. So if the mother leaf is still attached, then that's fine. You just leave it and let nature do its thing. And you'll see, like here, eventually the mother leaf will just naturally shrivel up and die off. So you don't need to cut them off, you don't need to pull them off, you just let them do what they're going to do. So that one has died. This Pearl von Nürnberg is also actually decomposing. So again, nature will do its thing. That will just go right back into the soil. It's nutrients for the soil. This is a Pearl von Nürnberg as well. And again, the mother leaf is now dying off. This doesn't seem to have the greatest root system, so this might not survive, but we will give it a chance. Maybe I'll put it in a different place with a little bit more room. So you can see this is getting pretty crowded now. So this is the size when I'm going to start pulling them out and replanting them individually or putting them right into the garden bed. Here's another Pearl von Nürnberg, and you can see there's the mother leaf, and it just naturally died off. And this is the baby. It actually has 2 heads on it. There's a head here and another head at the back. So that's pretty cool. These will be ready to be planted any day now. This is a beautiful Polydonis. You can see this is the root system that I'm getting by keeping the soil damp. So it's pretty significant considering these are just babies and they're about the size of a dime or maybe a nickel. You can see this has 3 heads on it. Oh, actually that's a separate plant. But anyway, these look really, really beautiful. They've got multiple heads, really beautiful. And so those will be ready to plant in an individual pot as well. And so these haven't been watered in a couple of days, so I'm going to water them also. And once your succulent leaf propagations are big enough, you can go ahead and plant them in your garden. I hope this video was really helpful for you with your leaf propagations, and happy propagating!